who's the most popular politician on the left?
AOC? I don't know.
One of, but who's Bernie? Bernie is
Bernie, yeah.
Bernie is. I mean, he's not a capitalist.
No, he's not, and he's also not president.
He's not. But
never would be.
But neither is Mamdani.
No, but he will. Trust me, he will be featured in the campaign commercials.
But they're going to feature people. They boogeyman everybody.
Yeah, but you don't have to boogeyman him. He does it to himself.
Bill Maher is back with another sharp critique, this time taking aim at the Democrats and one of their rising figures, Zohran Mamdani. In his latest monologue, Maher dissects what he sees as deepening divisions within the DNC, arguing that both the party's current trajectory and Mamdani's brand of democratic socialism could spell serious trouble down the road. It's a brutally honest take that invites real reflection on where American politics might be headed. Buckle up, this one's worth your time.
It seems to me that there are two pillars that this country is founded on. One is democracy, and one is capitalism, free markets. And it seems like one party wants to get rid of one, and the other party wants to get rid of the other, right? The Republicans are not that, democracy is just not number one on their list. It just isn't. It isn't. It's behind Christianity and a few other things. And the Democrats, I mean, I read these 74% are for democratic socialism. Only 16% favor capitalism. Is this going to be a country that I don't recognize in 5 to 10 years if we don't have these two pillars?
Let's be clear, Republicans don't take issue with democracy. What they're concerned about is fairness. For years, they've watched as left-leaning media outlets and their supporters have relentlessly gone after them, especially President Donald Trump. From questionable reports to sensationalized headlines, the goal has often appeared to be the same: to paint the Republican Party in a negative light. These ongoing attacks have undermined trust in the media and deepened political polarization. So the real question is, if misinformation and false narratives have caused this much harm, shouldn't those responsible be held accountable? After all, democracy thrives not on deception, but on truth, transparency, and equal treatment under the law.
If we don't, I mean, where are the Democrats going with this? If Mamdani is the face of the Democrats on the East Coast and Katie Porter is the face on the West Coast, I don't know if that's great politically for that.
Bill Maher brings up some thought-provoking points in this discussion. Zohran Mamdani and Katie Porter are two rising political figures whose ideas have ignited heated debate about the country's future. Mamdani, a self-described democratic socialist, advocates for policies such as rent freezes, publicly owned grocery stores, free public transit, and higher taxes on major corporations and the wealthy. While supporters view his platform as visionary, it reflects a model of governance with significant state influence over the economy. Porter, meanwhile, supports allowing transgender-identifying men to compete in women's sports, framing her stance around principles of inclusion and equality. At first glance, both appear to be pushing for fairness and progress, but beneath their messaging lies a more nuanced reality, one that raises tough questions about fairness, economic sustainability, and how to balance compassion with practicality in shaping America's path forward.
Who the mayor of New York is doesn't matter.
Let me play devil's advocate for a second. Do you think, let's say, on the seize the means of production, do you think that the mayor, that one person, if he's a democratic socialist, do you think that he would have the power and influence to be able to, usher in socialism?
He definitely has the power and influence to elect J.D. Vance or whoever is the Republican candidate next time. It is a walking commercial for the Republican Party nationally.
The Republicans are going to...
When you let the Democrat socialists, and now they're actually calling themselves socialists, when you let them take over a major American city, this is what you get. The state-run grocery stores, which worked so well in Cuba and the Soviet Union and Venezuela.
Did you catch Maher's opening remark? He pointed out that electing Zohran Mamdani could effectively hand the presidency to J.D. Vance or whichever Republican candidate takes the lead, and he has a point. Many voters understand the real-world risks of edging too close to socialism and are hesitant to take that chance. America's political pendulum swings fast, and when one side moves too far left, the other side inevitably gains momentum. Maher's message is sharp and straightforward. If Democrats throw their support behind figures like Mamdani, whose platform leans heavily toward socialist ideals, they risk alienating moderates and independents, the very voters who often decide elections. In that case, the 2028 race could easily tilt toward the GOP. Mamdani's rise isn't just a local phenomenon, it's a warning sign for the Democratic Party as a whole.
Trust me, he will be featured in the campaign commercials.
But they're going to feature people. They boogeyman everybody.
Yeah, but you don't have to boogeyman him. He does it to himself.
But they'll do it regardless. Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, but
they make anybody into boogeyman.
It has.
I think it was
just have more weight when it's real.
Exactly. Mamdani often ends up being his own biggest hurdle. His vision of a socialist-style state may sound appealing in theory, promising fairness, equity, and robust government support, but in practice, it raises difficult questions about personal liberty, economic stability, and the long-term sustainability of such a system. While his ideas resonate with a dedicated base, they tend to alienate a much larger share of voters who view them as divisive or out of touch. In today's political climate, where perception can make or break a candidate, Mamdani's rhetoric often overshadows his intentions. To many Americans, his proposals seem too extreme, too uncertain, and too detached from the practical realities of governing, making his path to national leadership a long shot at best.
You don't have to boogeyman him. He does it to himself.
But they'll do it regardless. Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, but
they make anybody into boogeyman.
It has.
I think it was
just have more weight when it's real. I mean, when you can really.
Ironically, many of the individuals liberals claim are victims of conservative attacks have largely created their own problems. Take Gavin Newsom, for instance. His setbacks weren't the result of some right-wing conspiracy, but of his own mismanagement during the devastating Palisades fires in California. He appeared unprepared, with too few fire crews available, and to make matters worse, water that could have saved homes and lives was redirected to protect fish habitats. Then there's Nancy Pelosi, whose reputation suffered not because of her opponents, but because of allegations of insider trading that reportedly earned her millions. The irony is hard to miss. The liberal elite often complain about being unfairly portrayed, yet their own questionable decisions and misplaced priorities tell a clearer story than any critic ever could.
This must be horrible for a guy like you, who you spent your whole life talking about how government tries to do too much, which it does, and spends too much. And here you have Trump, who is the Republican, who is aggrandizing more power than anybody, as we just talked about. And on the other side, you have the guy running in New York, Mamdani, right? Okay, who's like a straight-up communist. I mean, he is. He talks about, the things that communists say. I mean, he wants free grocery stores, free buses.
I want him to win.
You want him to win?
Mamdani seems to strike a chord with younger Democratic voters, but much of that enthusiasm stems from idealism rather than lived experience. Many in this group haven't witnessed or fully studied the difficult realities of communism. To them, it appears almost utopian, a world of shared wealth, universal equality, and power returned to the people. On paper, it's an inspiring concept. In practice, history tells a much darker story marked by economic collapse, repression, and the erosion of personal freedoms. From the Soviet Union to Cuba and Venezuela, nations that embraced similar systems have struggled and failed. Still, the idea remains appealing to younger generations who see it as a gentler alternative to capitalism. What they often overlook, however, is that behind the promise of equality often lie control, censorship, and the stifling of individual ambition, the very things democracy was designed to protect against.
I think every 20 years or so.
Wait.
We need every 20 years or so, we need a conspicuous, confined experiment with socialism so we can crack it up again. Socialist slogan used to be, workers of the world unite, you have nothing to lose but your chains. The new socialist slogan is, trust us, this time it won't be.
Exactly. History makes one lesson unmistakably clear. Socialism has failed far more often than it has succeeded. Yet many young Democrats seem eager to give it another try, convinced that their version will somehow succeed where others have not. but we don't need to relive the same mistakes to understand their consequences. The evidence is already there in the decades of economic hardship and social decline experienced by countries that embraced socialist systems. The pattern is always the same. Lofty promises of equality and fairness eventually lead to shortages, censorship, and the loss of personal freedom. Instead of repeating history's failures, we should learn from them, recognizing that, while capitalism is imperfect, it still encourages innovation, individual choice, and upward mobility, the very values socialism has repeatedly eroded.
When the post-war Labour government in Britain was about to get started, one of their leading lights was a socialist named Nurian Bevan. He said, what could go wrong? He said, we have a nation bedded on coal, surrounded by fish. It would take an organizational genius to have a shortage of either. In 3 years, they had a shortage of both. That's socialism.
It's clear that Maher has a point. If the Democrats were to nominate Zohran Mamdani alongside Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for the 2028 ticket, it could spell political disaster. While such a pairing might excite a small portion of the younger, far-left base, it would likely alienate a much broader swath of voters, particularly older, moderate, and working-class Americans. These are people who have seen firsthand the consequences of extreme policies and understand how radical ideologies can damage a nation's economy and social fabric. The older generation, in particular, would see through the rhetoric and recognize that this ticket could be harmful for the country. What Democrats need most right now is balance and pragmatism, not rigid ideological purity. A Mamdani AOC ticket may sound bold on paper, but in reality, it would deepen divisions and drive voters toward more centrist or conservative alternatives.
It's not about the big crowds that come out to you when you're talking in a festival or wherever they are. I think it's because I think Bernie showed up at Coachella. That must have been fun for the fans. It's who shows up on Election Day. And I just don't see that's the ticket. I mean, Cory Booker, I know you've worked with him. I like Cory a lot from my home state of New Jersey. Made a speech for 25 hours. Again, just whacking each other off. This is just not what's going to get the job done.
What the Democrats truly need is a candidate rooted in reality. Someone who genuinely understands the daily struggles of ordinary Americans. The party has spent too much time in echo chambers, debating abstract issues and identity politics, while voters are increasingly focused on concrete concerns like rising living costs, job security, and economic stability. People aren't waking up thinking about ideological debates. They're worried about paying rent, buying groceries, and keeping their families afloat. To regain public trust, Democrats must step outside their political and cultural bubbles and listen to a wide array of perspectives, not just those that echo their own. They need a leader who can balance progressive ideals with practical solutions, someone who connects with the nation emotionally, economically, and realistically. And that wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.